Hi, everyone. I'm Carly Biron here today with an episode of the EchoStor Healthcare Heartbeat. I'm here today with Mike Hale and Tanner Crowe, who are two members of EchoStor's dedicated healthcare practice. Mike is a principal solutions engineer with over 15 years in healthcare technology executive leadership, and Tanner is a solutions engineer with a decade of experience in healthcare IT architecture, administration, and support. Today, we'll be talking about storage in Epic environments. With many of our healthcare customers running the Epic platform as their electronic medical record systems, storage platforms are critical to running their business. Mike, based on your experience as a customer and with EchoStor, tell us about some of the aspects of enterprise storage that healthcare organizations are dealing with.
Yeah, thanks, Carly. When you're looking at your storage platform that supports your Epic environment, there's a lot of things to take into consideration. There's, of course, performance, your I/O needs, reads and writes, and also accounting for bursts for peak times like shift changes. And then there's the aspect of the underlying databases like ODB and Clarity, Caboodle, Cogito, and those other funky named Epic database platforms. So you have to run those, and not to mention there's also the reporting needs. There's feeds to other systems that really allow you to leverage that data and maximize its use across your organization. And it's always a tough balance to try to predict and keep up with the demands of healthcare. There's, like I said, those transactional processes in the ingestion of data. And then there's the other side is getting close to as real-time utilization of that data as possible. Tanner, you've worked in Epic environments for a number of years. Why don't you tell us about your experience sizing and planning for storage in a healthcare environment?
Yeah, so sizing a SAN system is both a science and an art. So when you're sizing one of these systems, one of the things that are always going to be accounting for is data growth. And what kind of data growth is that? Is it an organic data growth of certain percentage year over year? Is that event driven by something like an Epic upgrade, a new module, new mergers or acquisitions of other organizations into your Epic environment? So beyond that, you're also looking to choose options that are expandable. Can they scale up? Can they scale out with the needs of your business? And we start looking at other things like this. So we're looking at data protection, whether that be local to the SAN array itself with snapshotting and vaulting, how you're going to extract that data into a backup system for long-term archiving and protection. Another big piece of this is managing your Epic environments. So within an Epic environment, you typically have a lot of copies of your ODB data. So those would be for support, validation, look back, development, training, and being able to efficiently manage those where you're taking advantage of SAN snapshots to try to save on space, because those can really grow and consume a lot of storage. We also like to think about what's the method you're using for refreshing those. Have you built some automation yourself? Do you lean on one of the OEMs to help you with that? And really, we also talk about sizing for the different performance levels in this. The performance level you need for ODB may be different than what you need for reporting. And you also have the other piece of it is web blob. So you've got quite a few storage needs just across the Epic platform. And many customers will choose to consolidate those into singular platforms or spread that load across into multiple SANs and really spread that life cycle across year over year instead of doing it all at the same time.
Yeah, that's key. You just that point you just touched on, Tanner, which is the placement of all these different types of workloads that make up the underlying storage of an Epic environment. You have to think about the optimal platform for delivering the performance and the requirements there. There's capacity consumption. Is that of those different types of data, is it going to grow and how fast? Underlying that, there's a good technology, which is deduplication, which allows for really efficient use of those storage investments. But at the same time, it makes calculating your capacity requirements a challenge. And all of that requires a high level of expertise and experience that guys like you and I have, and the EchoStor engineers can really help in that capacity.
Yeah, as you said, when it comes to determining what your footprint is going to be, it can often be difficult to try to calculate what is going to be your storage savings for dedupe compression, depending on which platform you choose to run this on. And will something like compression impact latency? The other thing that we think about here is the protocol that you're using to deliver the storage. Fiber channel is still very much preferred for these types of environments just based on maturity and stability. But more and faster protocols are moving in here. We have NVMe over fiber channel and TCP, and there's other technologies like RDMA that are starting to come through. Maybe not in your Epic environment right now, but something to look into the future for.
Yeah, these are all,
Awesome.
tough decisions. And again, not easy ones to navigate, especially on your own. And that's where, again, I keep saying it, EchoStor engineers in our experience can help. Carly?
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks for the insight, guys. This has been today's episode of the EchoStor Healthcare Heartbeat. Until next time.